what the heck is this, right? So I have been going, I've been spending a fair amount of time working on this doctorate. And I know I've mentioned it before. And, one of the things that I keep coming across as I'm sort of exploring my question, which is why is there more entrepreneurship? It's called efficacy, right? Confidence, people actually starting businesses. Why is there more of it in certain social economic classes versus others? And so, like for example, why in a city like Hayward in our social economic um, uh, class, why would we have so much less entrepreneurship than they do like in San Ramon or Danville? And so it's one of the things I'm exploring. There's a whole bunch of literature that says, oh, it's this, that, or the other. But I think there's a bunch of other stuff that's sort of playing a role. And influencers is one of those things that I've been sort of kicking around and exploring. And who are they? What role do they play, et cetera. And so this has had me thinking about this for a long time. So in my on-campus classes, I sort of have a debrief, where I, talk to the students about stuff, right? When you get older, you get to do these things, right? And so, I thought, well, gosh, I want to have a chat with them about influencers, and and at least get them thinking about, you know, what influencers are impacting your life. Because when you're 19, 18, 19 years old, you're thinking about is, man, I want to take over the world, right? And or maybe not take it over, but at least I want to be able to live in it. And and what are those things that are going to impact you? And we're told, oh, get an education, everything will be better. But we know it's not just education. So, and start exploring this a little bit. And then, of course, I'm a big AI guy, big AI fan. And so I started talking to ChatGPT about this. And I started off creating like a worksheet that the students could do during class. And then we started working on a GPT that would be more of a conversation because I love these. And so that's what I created. And I got to tell you, um, it's probably not for everybody. I do like to reflect as a practice, and I think most people that have met me probably be like, really? Uh, but I do, right? Because I feel like I've had a pretty fortunate life, and so I'm like, well, why? Why have I had such a good life? Maybe I shouldn't ask, but I do. And so for me, as I was going through this GPT, it was kind of emotional. Like I was kind of like, oh my goodness, right? It was a very interesting experience for me. I've had probably 10 people take it. And some of them were like, well, that was interesting. And I had a couple of students take it, and they were, wow, it took me 10 minutes. It was kind of like, wow, it took me like 45 minutes because I was having a broader conversation. And so, this is 100% optional first, right? This is not, and this is extra credit. You want to do it, brilliant. Two, if you have a chat GPT account, don't log in, right? And if you don't log into your ChatGPT account, when you close your browser, everything is deleted. This is all I know, and I never get to see anything from your GPTs, which is why when I have had you do like an assignment, I always tell you, go get the code. And then all I get is the code. Nobody ever gets to see your stuff. It's personal. So, if you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want to share this personal information, don't. But if you do, just know nobody's going to see it. I don't like get a report. That's just not the way these things work. As a matter of fact, when I took it, um, I was logged into my ChatGPT account and it never referred to other stuff that we had done. So I'll give you an example. It was kind of like, okay, these are people that you said have influenced your life positively. Give me an example of how they've influenced you. And I said, well, one of the things is that they helped me, encourage me to get the DBA, doctorate. And I was like, well, that's interesting. What's your doctorate about? And I was like, dude, you've helped me work on this as one of my research assistants for the last, 6 months. But it wouldn't access it. It wouldn't like reach into my other stuff. So it is fully contained. Nobody's going to know your business. That means that at the end, if you found this interesting and it's going to generate sort of an inventory, I think, for you at the end. I think that's what it's called. You have to copy and paste that. Or if you want to keep the whole conversation, you got to copy and paste the whole conversation. And or the questions as you go along. You got to capture that because I don't see anything. At the very end, if you found it interesting, all I'm looking for is your reflection. What did you think? Was this a big waste of time or was it helpful? I'm not going to know that you took it. So you could you could just go get this free extra credit and I'll never know, right? You could just say, "Oh, I found it was interesting." And that's all you did. You didn't take the GPT. And I'll never know. And so I just thought when I built it, man, and I took it that first time, I literally found myself getting a little emotional as I was sort of reflecting on some of my past when I was younger and those things that were influencing me. And it was just really, I thought it was kind of a cool experience. I thought you might too. If you don't, I'm sorry. Uh, uh, but I think everybody benefits from reflection, but it's 100% voluntary. You don't have to do this. So if you do have some feedback and you want to give me a buzz, you guys know how to find me. And hopefully, this will be interesting. Thanks.